Welcome to Afterlife Café TV, connecting hearts, healing souls, and bridging worlds. I'm your host, Helen Peacock, and this is your sacred grounds, a warm, welcoming space where you're invited to take a seat, exhale, and just be. Each week, we will gather cafe style for heartfelt conversations, some mediumship, and maybe some intuitive insights and soulful storytelling that explore the afterlife, some healing, grieving, and the unbreakable bond between us and those in spirit. Here, laughter and tears are both welcome. Love transcends time, and spirit meets us in the most human of ways. So if you're seeking comfort, connection, or a deeper trust in your own inner knowing, you're in the right place. So pour yourself something warm and let's begin. And welcome back. I'm very excited about my new guest today, and her name is Holly Porter. She is an author, she is a speaker, and she's also an entrepreneur, like myself, entrepreneur. Let me say that again. And I just want to welcome everyone to, again, another episode here. And today we're exploring a subject that has fascinated myself, humanity for many generations, and that's NDEs, or near-death experiences. And my guest today, Holly, is is going to explain to us about her life-changing near-death experience and Holly's perspective on life that has shifted perhaps in profound ways. And she's also written a book called Near Death Shift. And it's all about her path, her purpose, her service, her transformation. And today we'll talk about what happened, what she experienced, and how it may have changed her life, and perhaps what she hopes that others can learn from her journey. So welcome, Holly.
Hi, Helen. Thanks for having me today.
Oh, thank you for being here. I'm so excited.
How it's changed my life. How could it not have changed my life?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So can you take us back to that moment? Can you share with us perhaps what's happening or what was happening leading up to your NDE?
Yeah. Something I've never said on any of the shows I've been on that I feel like I need to say beforehand is that I truly believe, this is my belief, that people see these experiences how they can like understand and believe them. And I've said that to a couple people in the past, and it's like, oh yeah, because there's so many similarities to people's stories.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's so many things that are like, whoa, why that, you know? So when they see somebody like, maybe they see their pastor, or maybe they see, I don't know. It's like their belief is
Yep.
how they're going to be shown to understand for them.
I totally agree 100%. Yeah. There's a gentleman that I follow and I've been following him for a year and a half, and he does a lot of OBEs.
Oh yeah.
I'm hoping one day he'll be on the show. And he says the exact same thing. It's what you
Oh
perceive is what's going to be presented to
yeah.
you. So thank you for clarifying that.
Well, and because I think, am I your first near death guest? Did you tell me?
I
Can't remember
think
if you told me that.
I believe you're my third. I
Okay,
believe you're
somebody
my
else told
third.
me that then.
Yeah.
Well, so I don't know if your audience has been shared this before, but let me just preface it also. So I didn't know for a couple years after my experience that there was a difference of out of body experiences, which you refer to as OBE,
OBEs. Yep.
STE, spiritual transformative experience, and then NDE for near death experience. And I
Hmm.
had all of them. I had lots of out of body, one
Wow.
specific spiritual, one specific NDE,
Okay.
which is way longer than your show's ever going to be, right? Like
Hmm.
for us to talk.
We'll have you back for part two.
Yeah, that's fine. I've done that actually before too, because there is a lot of things and people get excited about that. So I just feel like people need to understand where it's coming from. So what
Okay.
specifically you want to talk about, I will follow your lead and share whatever you.
Yeah. So what was leading up to for you, like before this actually happened?
Yeah, so without a lot of ton of backstory. So I got COVID in 2021, as many of us did in that time frame. It was the fall of 2021. So we were about halfway through that nonsense we were back to doing in-person events, and I went to a conference that I go to every year. About 20 of us came home sick. It was the Delta version, which I think has still been far the worst. And I
What's
was
the,
sick
can
at
you
home.
explain that? Sorry, can you explain
Oh,
Delta version?
so there's different variants of COVID, and at that time it was like the Delta version. That's where I think a lot of
Mm.
people died. Yeah, half the people in the hospital were dying that when I was in there on 2 floors.
Oh, okay.
So a lot of, I mean, yeah, I have so many stories around it. So many
Mm-hmm.
things. There's so
Mm-hmm.
many miracles to the story too. But so basically, I ended up coming home for a week, woke up intuitively, gave COVID to my husband. So he was a couple days behind me. Didn't quite as he didn't get hospitalized, but he was on oxygen and had blood
Mm.
clots, some things, and worried about me the whole time because he couldn't even
Mm-hmm.
come for 3.5 weeks when I was the worst. So I had him drive me to the hospital. Felt like there was an elephant sitting on my chest, literally.
Oh, wow.
I
Okay.
was dying. Like I got to the hospital, my oxygen was 63 out of 100. So not doing well.
Mm-hmm.
He parked and he said they already had you by the time I parked and got in inside the ER because he dropped me off up front. He said they already had you like on the way to the ICU. That's how bad I was.
Okay.
So, like no playing around in the ER like they messed
Yeah.
around with forever. And that began one of 70 days in the hospital. So two intubations, trachea, sepsis, a couple other life and threatening infections they said were worse than COVID, believe it or not, that should have taken me out. Given every single drug in my body, I mean, so many miracles. Like I had a 5 to 10% chance of walking out of there, but here I am.
Okay. So how did you actually have the experience of your of those NDEs and OBEs and the
Yeah.
STEs?
And when I found out there was those differences, I literally could tell you, oh, now I can identify every single one. They were very different for me. I also could identify a lucid dream. I also could identify a nightmare. And those were none of those experiences, just a
Mm.
nightmare. And so it was quite interesting for me that, COVID's a brain disease. So like I have long COVID since then, and just your brain's just like all over the place. And so it was interesting that the clarity that I had, and like for instance, I knew this is kind of funny, but I've never heard anyone else say that they did this. I knew somehow when I was out of my body a lot, looking at myself in the bed, like I'm in the room. I never was like, I don't remember being hovering like a lot of people say. I was like in the
Okay.
room watching things.
Okay.
I remembered in the out of body experiences mostly. Um, I knew that if I leave, I might not get my body's laying there in that bed. It might not get rejoined with it. So I took my bed with me on my journey. So when I went out of body, it was me and my bed. And me and my bed would go, and I wouldn't stay in it. I'd get to wherever I was going in this out of body experience, and then I would experience whatever I was in. So that was unique. And I went back to a town in the out of body experiences called Perwin, Utah, which ironically is only about 15 minutes up the road from me right now. I
Okay.
ended up a lot of the time in a old pioneer home. I live in Utah, and I knew it was a relative. I had taken my kids. The city owns it, and it's a museum now that they do tours in. And I knew it was some kind of relative. I found out later it was my great 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 grandfather. So I was there a lot. There wasn't always the greatest experiences there. It was a
Mm-hmm.
little creepy. It was about 100, the home was built about 165-ish years ago.
Oh,
So it was that far back. And I always went back in time or current time in my out of body, never in forward time. I don't know if people do that, but I didn't
mm-hmm.
do that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so those were those. Um, my near-death experience. You want to jump to that?
Yeah, sure.
Make sure we leave time for the spiritual one because that'd be a great place to end.
Okay, I'll write that
Um,
down. Noted.
that was also my last one. What's interesting is getting my medical records and tracking. Like I was having a lot of out of body before they put me on the ventilator the first time. So I was in the hospital for 4 days, probably refusing more than likely because back
Mm-hmm.
then it's like, oh, you're going on the ventilator. Bye. You know,
I heard that. I heard
yeah,
that.
and I actually got to make that choice. I have a 20-minute recording with my husband on the FaceTime and my sister in there with me. I could have one person every 24 hours. There were people that couldn't have that luxury. Like that was where we were at the
Really?
time. They had nobody. They died alone. And so every 24 hours, one person, that's it, could stay with me. And my sister started rotating. and a couple other people came too. When it became, I'm in there for 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks, it's like, okay, we need help, you know? So she
Hmm.
was in there and they recorded the call where I literally at the end hear myself saying, I mean, when I listen to the call, I cry because I'm crying more for them. Like, what a horrible place to be to have someone's life in your hands deciding if they're going to go on a ventilator or not. And I took that decision away from them. And I finally said, all I know is that I can't breathe and I'm going to have to take my chances. And
Hmm.
so that's when they
That's
ventilated.
brave.
And I'm so glad that they didn't have to choose that.
Hmm.
I didn't want to choose that, but I literally, my organs were shutting down. So the near death, I'm leaving my room in my bed and I'm going down the hospital corridors and they make you sign all these papers before they put you on a ventilator. Maybe not all these papers. Maybe it was just one. I don't know. I'm half dead, right? So I'm
Hmm.
going down and I'm shaking my finger at the nurse's station saying, I rescind my DNR. I rescind my DNR, which is do not resuscitate. Not even sure if I had one. I don't even know. But come on, let's think about it. If you have a do not resuscitate, COVID's a little bit different. You're put on a ventilator because you can't breathe, not because you're brain dead, right? Or you got
Exactly.
in a
Yeah.
horrible accident. It's like, dang, give me a chance, you know? So I feel like it's a little bit different, just saying.
Yeah.
So as I'm going down the hallway, I'm seeing other beds down the hallways, you know, like different hallways of the hospital. Also, I'm seeing them and I'm thinking, oh, we're all on this journey together, right? I think they were the people dying that I was seeing going.
Mm, that
And we
makes
end
sense.
up at the end, we end up like at a stadium. The way I can explain it is like a football stadium, but the biggest, there's not one that big in the world that I know of. And we got to be in the sky boxes because all the hospital beds, because we were in hospital beds. So next thing I know, there's this pause in time, and then I'm outside of the skybox and I'm in the stadium now. And there are hundreds and thousands of people all in bright, bright and white clothing, like just the brightest bright you can imagine.
Hmm.
And I'm looking around and I could see feet. So I knew nobody was standing, everybody was floating because I could see feet.
Yeah.
And you could like look at somebody there. First of all, the energy was off the charts. There was not, you couldn't have a negative thought. Like it didn't even exist in this space.
Hmm.
There was nothing bad you could ever think of even exists. But as I'm looking at people, I'm having telepathy with them, like getting, if I had a thought that was even a question, I had an answer before I finished the thought. I mean, it was just like so.
Hmm.
So it's like, whoa, all this stuff's going on. And I'm not questioning, like, why am I here? What am I doing? I don't remember any of that because it was in such a peaceful, joyful, loving space that, like, that doesn't come up. So the next thing I see is all four sides, I could hear so clearly, like music, just this beautiful sound that I had never heard that kind of a sound before. And then I start hearing, which I would say angels singing, like the singing. And I love to sing. And sadly, lost my voice during COVID. I don't know what happened, but I can't sing like I used to. And I just remember like the words, it was probably telepathic. I never heard the songs, but I knew the words to all the songs because I was singing with them. And so enjoyed this, called it later the best concert I'd ever been to. Um,
I love
and
that.
it was awesome. Yeah, it was awesome. And it's funny listening to the things I would say when I came out, you know, and going, why didn't my sisters figure that out where I like it's like they didn't get it. I had to figure all this out on my own and nobody was figuring it out for me.
Hmm.
So the next thing I'm in what I call a life review and I'm getting instructions. So, oh God, there's so many things we won't be able to talk about on the show, but I'm getting instructions. I'm seeing the life in review first, but I'm only seeing good. Well, because I don't have a negative feeling or thought, I don't ask, like, where's the bad? Like, I've done bad. Where's the bad? I only had the view. And it was like sitting
Really?
in front of a play watching it. So I didn't question it. I'm just enjoying the ride and I'm seeing the love I gave and the service I gave and just all the good things. And I'm like, okay. So later, of course, I'm thinking, dang, where was the bad? I didn't have to watch any of that. I found out later, though. I did find out.
Okay. Okay. Because I want to get back to that part.
Yeah, yeah, I totally found out later. Anyway, so then I was given some instructions. So the day I found out I had COVID, I was working on it while I was at my conference, a pitch to a company that I wanted to partner with this new business idea. It wasn't incorporated yet. It was called Retreat R&R. And I woke up so sick and I went anyway. I showered. I mean, my makeup's dripping off as fast as I'm putting it on. And I go do this pitch on a Zoom in front of 9 people. I had to get up like at 5 in the morning. So it was early. It was at Eastern time and I'm Mountain time. And I'm there pitching them. Well, they had a billionaire backer. So you can bet I wanted to partner with them because I'm thinking
Mm-hmm.
the money's a slam dunk. Like this is going to be amazing. They're going to love this idea. It doesn't exist in this form. This is perfect. Well, everything went really well. I was super excited about it. So I'm in my near death and I'm told not to partner with them, that that wasn't the highest and best thing. Of course, that's top of mind for me because it's like my next big step
Yeah.
in life. And I mean, I'm thinking the next billion-dollar idea here. Um, and told not to. And so, of course, there's not negative. So I wasn't thinking, well, bummer. I thought it later,
Mm.
thought a lot of that later. So I was just absorbing what I was told that wasn't the highest and best thing to do, that it needed to stay mine. Ironically, later I found out so many things of why. It's just funny how sometimes you just have to you go with those intuition things, those things that you're told, listen, and you find out why later.
Okay, my audience is going to want to know.
Oh, what's that? They're gonna want to know. Oh
They're
yeah,
going
yeah.
to want to know.
Oh yeah, it's wild. It's so okay. So let me hear and tell you this part. So then the second thing I get told is to go and start this nonprofit. Well, I had been in Rotary International for years. Service was my thing. That was my jam. Every company I'd had up till then was a service-based business. So all about service. So okay, I'll start a nonprofit. It's called Adventure Bucket Wish. Not given the mission. I had to figure out the mission.
Oh, I like that.
So then I got no choice. I got no, wow, that's English. Um, I just literally got sent back into the pain of my body. Now I'm there on a ventilator in the hospital room. My sister Jill was there with me, and
Mm-hmm.
she could tell I was really uneasy. And um, I couldn't talk because I had the ventilator. So
Mm-hmm.
they had an alphabet page. They would come bring me, and I'd spell things out, and I barely could even lift my finger. Like it took a long
Yeah,
time to
a
get.
lot of energy for that.
I start writing KID. Oh, do you want me to tell your kids something? And I must have shook my head or something. She knew it. I wasn't at NAP. And she's like, when you spelled out kidnap, first I like wanted to throw up in the garbage can because I was like, they said you were doing better. So why? I ran an errand and I came back. What happened while I was gone? I mean, they were very protective over me. Um, anyway, so she says, right when you communicate that, the nurse and the doctor walk in to extubate you, and you could talk, not very well, but she says you had a lot to say. I was like, heck yeah, I did. So, but I had must have had some kind of fear, and I never could figure out like why did I come from there and say why would I say kidnapped?
Yeah,
There was also spirits still in my room, a three for sure. Um, it's funny how people with near-death experiences, it takes 10 years sometimes they say to unravel
I've
everything.
heard that.
And that is true. That it's not even been 5 for me. And so
Mm-hmm.
I was like, could see him, but the doctor and nurse left. I mean, I was doing better. That's why I got some back, right? So they take the ventilator off. Well, I was only off it for like 18 hours. Then I had to be revented because I just couldn't keep my oxygen up. But she's
Mm.
opening the doors and the closet, showing me nobody's in here. And figured quickly I was the only one that could see who was in there, right? And so, okay, that was the end of that part of it. I'll jump so you don't miss the juice. Okay, so fast forward. First of all, within 4 months, I had a nonprofit 501(c)(3) done in 25 days. I got a nonprofit 501(c)(3). Total miracle. I decided to have the mission for long COVID sufferers because that's what I was living. It was underserved. No one knew anything about it. There was 100 million identified at that time that had long COVID. That's nuts. I'm sure there's tons more now.
Mm-hmm.
So I decided that was our mission. Incorporated Retreat R&R, started doing everything that. So I'll tell you a little more to that, to the rest of the story. And then about that fourth month, I literally went through almost what I call my 2 years of hell. I've heard a lot of other people that have these experiences experience something similar. It was literally taking every bad day I'd ever had, times it by 100. That's how heavy everything felt every day. Like I was praying every day I would die. I was like, why did I live to like what is like I knew what I was supposed to be doing because I feel like I was handed this life Bible with the
Mm-hmm.
ending written and I just had to write all the pages in between. Well, who gets that? That's pretty cool. Like I was full of gratitude, but during these 2 years, I mean, every emotion. I was full of hate. I was full of anger. I just didn't understand the whys. So I found IAN's conference, International Association for Near-Death Studies, went to the conference. That's where I learned about out-of-body, near-death, spiritual
Mm-hmm.
transformative. And then I started kind of opening up to a few more things. Then I decided I'm certified in hypnosis, like 10 years now. I contacted my mentor and I said, "Hey, what would you think about doing a hypnosis session on my near-death experience only?" Like I had lots of experiences, but like that one specifically, when I ended up going to the end of the hospital hallway to the stadium, and then all of a sudden I'm in the stadium, there was a pause of time. And I said, "I feel like there's more to the story and I know what it is, but I can't remember." So he agreed and we did this, and oh my gosh. I hate comparing it to almost like another near-death experience, but it was like another near-death experience.
Mm-hmm.
So where he took me though was why I felt kidnapped. So there he took me in this place that I call the in-between, and the dark's on the right and the light's on the left. And there ends up being an entity in there. I didn't feel, I felt darkness, but not evil. Like I wasn't afraid. I was more like explorative, like what's going on here? Why am I here?
Mm-hmm.
This isn't the Stadium of Light, that I remembered. So what I think now in putting pieces together is I think when I was vulnerable, dying, and I went from the end of the hospital hallway to the skybox to the outside, I was vulnerable, and I feel like this entity even told us his name was Darby, which was just wild. I heard it three more
Okay.
times the next morning.
Did Darby feel familiar at all to you?
No,
Just
no.
an inner
Darby told
knowing?
me he had no connection, but he could have been lying. He had no connection. He couldn't go to the light. He couldn't have it. He wanted it, and so he wanted mine. So I feel like he almost like took me and brought me to this in between before I got to the state of light. Like I ended up there at the end, but he brought me to this place. And they bantered, my mentor and him, like bantered about, you stole her light. Like it felt good because he really had, my mentor had my back. He was like,
Mm-hmm.
you stole her light. She earned that. It's not yours and you stole it and whatever. Then I feel like that stadium of lightness and brightness and almost warmth on the side of my face while he's doing this hypnosis session. And I said, I didn't say anything. Darby said at that point, because that's just how hypnosis works, how you can do
Hmm.
it.
Yeah.
Don't need to explain all that right now. And Darby said, the light's coming to take her and I'm not going to be able to stop it. And my mentor said, well, then let her have her light. Eventually, he lets me go. And then here we go. I walk. First of all, a couple things I saw. I looked to the right, way far away, and there's a mountain with one eye on it. And I saw it twice. And I remember the second time going, okay, that's the second time I've seen that. Noted. Like there's a reason. I still don't know the exact reason other than I feel like, yes, it was on the dark side, but I feel like because it was facing the light, it was protecting me. It was like
Mm-hmm.
that protector. Um, no, so no fear. Then I walk forward and there's a tree. And when I saw the tree, remember I had just come out of this 2 years of hell. I see this tree. When I was branding Retreat R&R, I knew intuitively that it needed to have the logo needed to be a tree. And I shared that. Nobody questioned it. I didn't question it. I just said, yeah, it needs to be a tree. When the tree comes back, it has 11 leaves and 11 roots on it. One, 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 one.
Yeah.
I got out
Okay.
of the hospital on 1/1. My birthday's 1/1. Like so many synchronicities were happening that when I saw that, it was like you did what I asked you to in this near-death experience, and this tree's part of your story, and you didn't even remember. Like so that was like just So then I go over, now I'm over into the light side. First of all, I forgot to tell, there's all this energy. Okay, I know we're gonna run out of time. There's all this energy floating around even in the in between, but it was like shadowy colors, but it would form a heart and the heart would float to the light. And I remember thinking even with that, oh, even the dark's attracted to the light. Okay, there was that. So when I get over to the light now, the color changes and now it's like bright white colors. And then all of a sudden I see pink and the pink hearts float, and now
Mm-hmm.
they're more up because we're in the light. When I did my nonprofit, the second thing I was supposed to do, and we had a fundraiser, all the little gift bags I knew needed to have a rose-colored pink heart in it. No one asked me why, I didn't question it. And it was just that other confirmation, just saying, you're doing the right thing. You did what I asked you to.
Mm-hmm.
Well done. It was like, okay, real quick, the life review, I start seeing again. Now I ask, where's all the bad? Why am I not seeing the bad? This is what God said to me. He said, I'm showing you the good because that's what matters.
Because that's
Second
what
thing he
matters.
said to me
Mm-hmm.
was, I'm going to give you a message. And if I would have had this message, I would know I wouldn't have went through my 2 years of hell, which were definitely needed for what I'm doing in the future. He said, love them where they're at. It would have
Love
changed.
them where they are
Love
at.
them where they're at. And I just thought, anyway, so that was pretty much the real short version of the story.
Okay, now is that because I know we wanted to circle back to the spiritual experience. There's the NDE, OBE.
I'll tell you that one real quick. So the gist of it was my mom visited me. She had passed away about 17 months
Mm,
before. She visited me at my bed on my right side as she had, but she never spoke to me. This time she said, this was my last experience that I remembered having. She said, it's not your time to be here and you need to fight. And when she said fight, all my ancestors that had passed on came in white above my bed and all started chanting fight, fight, fight. And every time they say fight, a whole new group of people would come behind them. Now in street clothes, so I knew they were living people. And I'm seeing my
mhm.
husband, my kids, my siblings, and friends. And then I start seeing thousands, not the hundreds of thousands in the statement, but tens of thousands of people like this above every time they chant fight. It was that defining moment when I knew I was going to live. It was like I had that thing. They had my back. I have all these people. I
Your
think all those
cheerleaders.
were praying for me. And yeah,
Mm,
I saw them all. I saw all the prayer lists I was on. I think all those people were the people I saw. And I thought, who am I not to
amazing.
live?
Yeah, amazing. Yeah, this is where I do wish I had a little bit more time, but like I said, we can bring you back for part two and just explore a little bit deeper on that. Um, just a quick question in regarding to your book, because we're pushing that for those who really want to know more, is why did you choose the title? Like what does the shift mean to you for where you are now?
Oh, wow. So the title evolved while I was writing it. So last fall it came out on 11/11 is when I launched it.
Good.
And I just knew the title needed to be different, even though I had the other title for 2 years. Shift became an acronym, which I didn't plan on either. It's like everything was just so spiritually involved. It's a spiritual and personal development book. So Shift stands for surrender, hope, intuition, faith, and transformation.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah,
Good for you.
thank you.
So it just seems like your experience had opened up a lot of doors to your intuition and your faith, right?
Yeah,
So did
and
you,
just the to be continued stuff.
yeah, that's very cool. I like that. Hmm.
Yeah.
So was there a lesson that you learned? Like, is there a lesson that you could share or anything that you want to share for my audience? If there's something that you can look back at, is there anything like an experience that happened for you rather than to you?
I would say the two things that were life changers for me was love them where they're at. I remind myself that of daily because it really takes the judgment out of how you
Mm-hmm.
judge people.
Yep.
The other thing I was told was more will be revealed to you when the time is right. And I think we all can take that lesson because
Yeah.
it's true. When we have intuitive hits or gut feelings, we all have it. We just don't want to always listen to it. And I think if we just all realize when the time's right, you're going to know for the next step and the
Yeah.
next
That sounds familiar.
step.
So, quick question. What brings you the greatest joy?
To know that I can tap into peace. I never had peace in my life that I truly felt until just like 2 years ago. To never feel that. And now I
Yeah.
know what that feels like.
I like that. I like that.
And Joy's my mom's name. So thank you.
Oh, I love that word.
Me
I
too.
love that. It's one of my favorite words, joy. I love that. So, how do you stay spiritually connected when life becomes a little overwhelming?
I think it's just grounding back. I have these little
Okay.
inhalers that I leave by me
Mm,
by my desk. When I get a stressful situation, I'll be I'll sniffing it. Like, chill out. I think just calming in. I have my feet on a grounding mat and I make sure I'm barefoot in my office when I'm
hmm.
working. Just, I'm not all woo woo or anything. I'm not a psychic, but I just think I listen more. And I think I was put in that coma for all those days so that I would listen to the next steps. Hopefully, I don't have to go there again to like
Yes.
figure it out. But
Yes. Okay. So one last question. So when your own journey is complete here, many years from now,
Yeah.
what do you hope that people will say about the life you lived?
Mm. I hope they say that I brought joy to them.
Joy, there's that word again.
I hope that they say my legacy is to make people better and to
Mm,
love them where they're at. And I mean,
love
literally,
them
I'm
where
going to
they're
do
at.
t-shirts that say that because I feel like we all need to be reminded of that. It's such a big message.
I really like that. I love them where they at. That makes total sense to me. That makes total sense. So how can my audience know how to contact you or to receive your book?
Yeah.
What's the best way?
Neardeathshift.com. I have a
Can
page
you
there.
say that again? Sorry.
Neardeathshift.com.
.com. Very easy.
And then I'll give you a link tree that takes you to all my socials and
Okay. I'll
email.
add that in the show notes at the bottom.
Totally. Yeah.
Just
One link. It'll take you to the book too. So you can just do that one link. That's fine.
book two.
Book two. The book, it'll take you to the book. Book two.
Okay. I thought you might, are you working on book two? I
Well,
wasn't
I
aware of that.
actually just created a health journal
Oh,
to go
well, that's
with
a
it.
book.
I have a workbook coming out this year too, but the health journal just got done. So it's not available yet. But maybe when you're listening to this, it will be. It's pretty close.
It may be because you never know. People
Yeah.
listen to podcasts that when they need to, right? Whether it's a year
Yes.
from now,
Yes.
6 months from now.
Yeah.
So Holly, I want to thank you for sharing not only your remarkable story, but also your beautiful heart.
Oh, thank you.
Your journey reminds us that, sometimes that life's greatest transformation begins in our darkest moments, but whether someone has experienced an NDE or is simply navigating a difficult season, perhaps today's conversation may remind everyone that hope is never out of reach and that even life's greatest challenges can awaken us to perhaps our deepest purpose. So thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
And for my audience, if today's conversation touched your heart like it touched mine, please share it with someone that you may feel need this message. So until next time, remember, as I always say, love never ends. It still comes with us in a different way, and our connections still continue. And sometimes the greatest shift begins the moment that we choose to see life through new eyes. So thank you, everyone, for joining us. I want to thank you for tuning in to Afterlife Café TV, connecting hearts, healing souls, and bridging worlds. I'm Helen Peacock, and I am so grateful, yes, it makes my heart sing, that you chose to spend this time here with me. So, to continue the connection, I do invite you to tune in to the Transformation Talk Radio every Tuesday at 11 a.m. for new episodes. And you can also visit my website at helenpeacock.ca to find out more about my sessions, group readings, yes, even Zoom group readings, and perhaps some events I may be holding. And also, there will be a course on your psychic development, mediumship development, if you're interested in that. And just know that there are more ways to gather in our Sacred Grounds community, where you can also, again, find me at helenpeacock.ca. So, if this episode touched your heart, please like, share, and subscribe. It does help the space reach others who may need it too. So, until next time, trust the signs, stay curious, and remember, love never ends. It's just different.